He opened the door and, he got immediately attacked.
First at 6, more than 2 years after a Spalding County man was shot and killed in front of his fiancee and children, there are now convictions. 1 week ago today, Robert Freeman III and Xavier Carter were convicted of felony murder and violation of the Criminal Street Gang Act for the death of Jeffrey Ryan DeLuca. And this comes right as Georgia leaders are working to crack down on criminal gangs.
They are reportedly responsible for a large percentage of crimes in our state. 11 Alive's Latasha Givens joins us now in studio. And Latasha, you spoke exclusively to a family who lost their loved one not only due to gang violence, but specifically because of a gang initiation.
That's right, Ron and Jennifer. This is a tragic example of gang initiation. The fiance of Jeffrey Ryan DeLuca is speaking for the very first time about him being shot and killed inside their home while her and their children were just feet away.
Taylor Lyons and Jeffrey Ryan DeLuca met as teens. Later, the high school sweethearts became parents.
And he always wanted 2 boys. His whole life was dedicated to the boys and myself.
But their dream life was tragically taken away from them. Back on July 24th, 2020, investigators say these 4 men drove to the Walden Point Apartments in Griffin where the family lived. Detectives say Xavier Carter, Robert Freeman, and Demarion Sinkfield went to a 3rd-floor unit. And when DeLuca opened the door, he was shot and killed. Police say Ryan Willis was the getaway driver. Taylor and the boys were in the other room.
Ryan had just put them in the bed, but they were still up.
In a press release, the district attorney Marie Broder says the crime was committed so that Xavier Carter would be able to join the Rolling 20s neighborhood gang.
I go into the schools and I am seeing gang members that are recruiting children, 10, 11, and 12 years old.
Broden says this case was a clear example of that type of recruitment. She says Sinkfield was recruited at the age of 12 and Carter was 19 during his initiation. The shooting, according to Broden, was overseen by Freeman, who was 26 at the time. Every day, Taylor shows Aaron and Jalen pictures and videos of their dad.
It just breaks my heart every day that he wasn't able to carry on what he wanted.
Xavier Carter, Robert Freeman were found guilty of a long list of charges, including felony murder. Both were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Sinkfield pled guilty to felony murder, while Willis is still awaiting trial.
Just an awful story, Latasha. Thank you. Meanwhile, today, Governor Brian Kemp and Attorney General Chris Carr came together discussing the gang problem in Georgia. They announced school districts are now partnering with local law enforcement agencies and state leaders as gangs turn to middle and even elementary school students for recruitment. Leaders of the state's anti-gang task force say gangs are getting more creative in how they are targeting younger children, using ice cream trucks or even giving away clothes or shoes to lure them in. School leaders say many of these groups target children who are looking for attention and security while dealing with an unstable home life.
The things these kids value is the time that you spend with them. And if they get the time with these gang members, they're going to value that much more than they would anything else.
Gang recruitment has been a growing concern amid a rise in gun violence affecting young people in Metro Atlanta. Over the Thanksgiving weekend, you might remember 12-year-old Zion Charles was among 2 kids killed in a shooting near Atlantic Station. Police have said they believe some of the shooters may have gang ties.